I often get questions about how do you know what it is that God wants to do with your life? And I think for years what we've done as Christians is that we've kind of asked the question, what do I really want to do? The problem is we don't ask what God wants us to do. You see, when we come to college, I've been teaching at Liberty University now for 18 years. I've had over 40,000 students. So many of those students come here and they don't realize that they're not here to find a vocation, they're here to find their calling. They're supposed to be called to come to this place. In fact, the matter is, it's not that your calling comes out of your vocation, it's that your vocation comes out of your calling. And so to me, the most important thing we can realize is that God created us in His image. He called us for His purpose. Our job is to surrender what He wants us to do, not what we want to do. And so I think the confusion happens so often. I've seen people miserable. They've worked the same job for 30 years. They've made good money. They've made a good living, all those kind of things. But they've never been fulfilled in here. Why? Because there's a calling and the connection of our heart. And when that calling touches our vocation and it leads to that, it creates this magical kind of place and this opportunity, this joy. All these things happen. Why? I tell my students often, I'd rather be anywhere in Africa or Eastern Europe or anywhere in the world, in God's will, following His calling, than right here in Lynchburg out of God's will. So I want to encourage you, seek God's calling. Ask God what His calling is. How do you do that? Well, first of all, you need to understand God's never going to reveal His specific will or calling for you until you first are engaged with His general will and calling. So what is that? That means, are you reading the Bible? Are you praying? Are you seeking Him? Are you living a life of holiness? Are you sharing your faith? Are you already doing those things that God has revealed to you? God would not reveal to us our specific calling unless we're already engaged with the general part of this. Come on, there's no parent anywhere, if our kids refuse to do anything, would reward them for their disobedience. No, one of the rewards for us being obedient and seeking God is that God reveals His specific calling for every one of us. And so when we connect with that, not only do we connect our very heart and desires and our passions, but guess what, guys? Because we're walking with God, it gives us much greater peace. And so for me, that's where the fulfillment comes, that we seek the calling of God. More important than anything, that's who we're supposed to be.